Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, doing the Tuesday business meeting recap. We had a great turnout. Thanks to everybody that was there. And John Hunter really appreciated you being there as well. I'll touch on a few things on what John had to say here in a moment. We welcomed Nicole Elliott to our team. Nicole comes to us from Better Properties. We're really excited to have her here, and I thank Rick Seddon and Andre Allen Franz for making that happen. We talked about the Form 47 and for sale by owner transactions. And the subject matter was, whose responsibility is it to input it within 3 days after closing, including a primary photo? If you have signed the Form 47, and the Form 47 is the form that creates an agency relationship with the seller on a property that's not being listed, if you've signed a Form 47, when that deal closes, it's your responsibility to input that into the database. If you are participating in a for sale by owner transaction and you're representing only the buyer and no Form 47s involved, you, as the buyer's agent, have the responsibility to put that into the Northwest MLS database. If it is a cross sale and one broker has a Form 47 signed and another broker is bringing the buyer to the table, the person who has the agency relationship, i.e. the Form 47, is the person that's responsible for inputting the closed sale into the Northwest MLS database within 3 days of the closing, including that primary photo. Yes, I know I'm harping on it, but it keeps coming up, so I want to make sure that we all are on the same page regarding that. And speaking of harping on it, a lot of what we talked about on Tuesday was presentation and communication. So there was a discussion on presentation of self. How do you dress? Are you ready for business? Do you look like you're inviting business? Presentation of your vehicle, presentation of your tools, your CMA, what do you bring to the party when you're going out to meet with a buyer or a seller? And then the communication is a big piece of presentation. We did a communication exercise, which if you weren't here, I wish you had been. It was great. A little 5-sentence story, read twice, and then just 10 simple questions. And I don't believe anybody in the room got 100%. And the conversation was about, we hear and talk with our own filter. So I was questioning the group, do you think that perhaps we could alleviate some of the stress that our buyers and sellers are going through by being very pinpoint on our conversations? Not saying things simply how we understand things to be said, but making sure that they are receiving the information that we're providing to them. We have a tendency to speak in shortcuts and to make assumptions. And somebody who's just doing their first transaction, or maybe it's their third transaction, we can't assume that they get it. So let's take the time to make sure that we're communicating with precision, accuracy, and clarity, and ask our customers and our clients to repeat what it is that we've said, of course in a nice fashion, to make sure that they're getting it so that their frustration level is lower, their expectations are reasonable, and it'll make your day in, day out business just a little bit easier. So I hope that you can execute that. John Hunter, one of the things that John talked about is we had the highest pending month last month since, and by we I mean Northwest MLS, since 2005. It's crazy busy. Even with the struggles buyers are having on getting offers accepted, crazy busy. I hope that you guys are looking at your calendar for the rest of the summer and trying to find some time to take time for you so that you are able to rejuvenate, because you guys are giving a lot right now, and I want to make sure that you don't burn yourselves out, that you're taking care of yourselves. The other thing that John spoke about is paperless is coming to John L. Scott. So probably by the end of this year, maybe the first quarter of next year, we should be paperless. It is a well-established system. It is a well-vetted system, and so we are looking forward to that tremendously. Don't ask me any questions about it yet because we don't have it in place. I don't have any answers, but I want to let you know that it's on its way. On housekeeping, do yourself a favor. When you leave with your computer or with your tablet, make sure that you're turning it off before you leave the building. And by turning it off, I don't mean just closing it. I mean turning it off so it's disconnecting from the network. Then when you go somewhere else and you're reconnecting to a network, you're going to have an easier time of doing that. That'll help you a great deal. And as a side note, don't leave the lights on in your office when you're not here, please. It's really a waste of resources, and it's crazy making for me, and I don't need to be any crazier, as most of you already know. So we have an announcement. Unfortunately, Andy is going to be leaving us. It was inevitable. Andy and I have talked about this for a long time. Andy is going to work for a broker in another firm as their assistant. So congratulations to Andy because she's progressing in her career. But boo-hoo for us. We have started the interview process. We have a couple of good candidates we've spoken to so far. And speaking of candidates, South Hill, looking for that manager. I have spoken to candidates. Nobody's good enough for y'all yet. We're still working on it. I do have an interview that's going to be coming up fairly soon with a gentleman that coming from California. I've met him before. I think he has wonderful potential, and now we're going to interview him with South Hill specific in mind. I'll let you know how that goes. This is the time of year where you get your free labels. Come to Cheryl and check that out. It's free black and white labels, 7 pages, which means it's 210 labels. Great time of year to be sending out a little touch to your sphere group. Next week, we're going to be talking about grit. There's a book that I just brought into the library that is subject matter is exactly that, written by Angela Duckworth. Interesting. We're going to do a little evaluation on what's your grit. And then I think last but not least, the Rainiers game is coming up. It is on July 21st. You all are free. Your guest is only $10. Subsequent guests will be $18.50 because that's the actual cost. But this is one of the things that we use our Sunshine Fund for, is to go to the Rainiers game and to have some fun. And oh, by the way, it happens to be on Thursday. Coincidence? I don't think so. Hope you're having a great week, and we'll see you next Tuesday at the business meeting. Bye.